Florida Stage spent 19 years delighting audiences at their Manalapan Theater. Just a short time ago, they packed up the wings and headed slightly north and have taken up residence at the Kravis Center for the Performing Arts. The actual move is documented at their YouTube page in time-lapse videography, of course. Now all moved in at the Kravis Center, their inaugural production is now playing low-down dirty blues and getting great reviews. I called Florida Stage producing artistic director Louis Tyrrell the other day to talk about the move and to talk about their entire 2010-2011 season. Hi, Lou. Thanks for taking the time to talk to South Florida Arts Beat.
Paul, thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, it's always wonderful to talk to you. And it's an exciting time for you. You just moved into the Kravis Center for the Performing Arts, and we want to hear all about that move. How's it going there?
Well, it's going terrifically. We have had the most smooth move one could imagine, if one can even imagine that as ever being the case. It was an opportunity for the company to work together in a way that proved to just draw us all closer together. And, after 19 years in our former theater in Manalapan, there was such a uniform excitement about Florida Stage at the Kravis Center. That energy and that enthusiasm just carried us right through. And what must really be said is that it's the staff of the Kravis Center who made it as easy as it was. They are the most professional and as warm and welcoming as they are talented in their work. And so, Judy Mitchell, Jim Mitchell, the board, the entire Kravis staff, all credit goes to them for making it such a smooth move-in for us.
And tell us a little bit what inspired this move.
Well, it really was a result of trying to think creatively in the midst of the economic downturn. It is a time always when you can certainly identify the challenges that all of us face in our lives, be it personal or professional, when something like this kind of downturn occurs. But if you really look at it as an opportunity to address issues, solve problems, think outside of the box so that you can end up not only landing on your feet, but innovating the way you do business in a way that expands the opportunities that you have for your organization and for the community you serve.
Well said. And, there's a great video on your YouTube page of the move in sort of time-lapse photography or what have you. And that's great for people to check out if you want to actually see the office is moving from Manalapan to West Palm Beach.
People can make the move with us.
Yeah, it's a great little video. We're heading into the 2010-2011 season, and you've got 4 wonderful productions set up, and I want to hear, if we can, a little bit about each one, and let's go through it, because I know the first one is starting in October, but we need to talk about that now, so tell me a little bit about the season.
Try to be concise, and give a few interesting details on each of the plays. Cain by Andrew Rosendorf is a commissioned play. It's part of our Florida cycle of plays, which we've committed to the development of telling Florida stories on stage. Here we are in, an extraordinarily rich and diverse state with a history of amazing stories that run the gamut. Very unique state in the Union, of course. I know everyone will agree. And this is a story about water and the land and the weather. It's about how earlier in the 20th century, right before the 1928 hurricane, the land was settled by people who tried to create lives around farming and agriculture. Then when the hurricane of 28 hit, with its devastating effect and the death of thousands of people in the Belle Glade area, they had to recreate their lives, and they had to try to move forward in a different way. We have a unique circumstance here with the fragility of our environment in the Everglades and the checkered history of trying to control the water, and to not all that great effect over the years with the Army Corps of Engineers and the building canal systems, and to try to take the water in directions we wanted it to go. And, of course, we threatened the existence of the Everglades as we know it and the animals there. And so this is a story that tells the story of man here trying to create themselves and Florida, trying to control the elements So it's a wonderful reflection of almost 100 years of the Florida story, from sugarcane to hurricane and families, how they've evolved.
Hence the name Cain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Andrew Rosendorf is our playwright in residence. We've helped to nurture his career right from college through an intern program, and so we're very proud that we're being able to present his first professional production to open our 24th season.
And that opens October 27th, running through November 28th.
Exactly.
We head to the second program, which is Goldie, Max, and Milk.
Goldie, Max, and Milk by Karen Hartman is an extraordinary story. She is a New York-based playwright. Tells the story of a lesbian couple who decide to have a child. So the brother of one woman in the couple supplies the male part of the wherewithal to birth the child, and the other member of the couple that has the child, we meet with baby being 4 days old, and there are lactation problems. So a lactation expert is brought in who is an Orthodox Jewish woman from Brooklyn, and values get challenged, and all hell begins to break loose in an examination of parenthood and personal values that I think everybody will enjoy. It's a charming, fun, and serious comedy, if I can say that will have its world premiere with us.
And Goldie, Max, and Milk runs December 15th through January 16th, bringing us to the third program, Ghostwriter. Tell me about that.
Michael Hollinger is a playwright. We've done, I think, 3 or 4 plays in our relationship with him, and Ghostwriter is simply the latest. The last thing we did with him was Opus, about a chamber ensemble that many of our patrons will remember. A very smart, affecting playwright. Ghostwriter is about a writer who hires an assistant secretary in 1919 in a townhouse in New York to type as he dictates his latest novel. And it's about early on in the piece when he dies, and the short, the brief, but deep relationship and chemistry that developed between him and his secretary somehow allows for the novel to be finished after his death. And so there's mysticism involved in the piece, whether it's a question of did she finish writing it or did she actually channel the writer to be able to complete the novel. It's a very literate and lovely piece of theater from Michael Hollinger.
It sounds very powerful and moving.
Yeah, it is. The third character in the play is his wife, who, of course, brings a dynamic of conflict that plays into the piece beautifully as well.
We're speaking with Louis Tyrrell, the producing artistic director at Florida Stage, and we're reviewing the 2010-2011 season. That was Ghostwriter, which is running March 2nd through April 3rd, bringing us to the fourth program in your season, which is The Cha-Cha of the Camel Spider. I love the title.
Carter Lewis is a good friend, of course. We've done many of his plays. You look at that title and you say, well, where does he come up with it? Well, the last title was last season's The Storytelling Ability of a Boy. So you realize that he likes very different kinds of titles, and he writes very different kinds of plays. And Cha-Cha of a Camel Spider centers on a mother-daughter relationship, the mother having just been let go by a company that is a security company, much like Blackwater. If your listeners know and have heard of Blackwater and its involvement, say, in Iraq.
Oh, yes.
And so the daughter, meantime, has a degree from college in spoken verse, not something that any parent would think there might be a tremendous job market for. But it's about their story and how they begin to get into trouble with the powers that be due to the nefarious dealing of this company and the power of spoken word in a world where politics and the military use a hardware that you wouldn't think would be phased. But it's a very poetic and theatrical piece of theater where the power of this young girl's imagination proves equal to the military hardware that this company uses.
The Cha-Cha of the Camel Spider, I wanted to say that title again, runs May 4th through June 5th. And again, Louis Tyrrell, producing artistic director at Florida Stage, now in residence at the Kravis Center for the Performing Arts in West Palm Beach. Best of luck, as always, with your season, with everything in the move. And thanks again so much for taking the time out to talk to us here on South Florida Arts Beat.
Well, thank you for your interest, Paul. It's a great pleasure.
For more information, head over to their website, floridastage.org. Join me every week for Broadway Edition, my online show at broadwayedition.org. I'm Paul Leary.